Right here, down. Protect your out. We put the work in. Let's finish. Come on, man. Let's do this. Family, I'll do 1, 2, 3.
You see, we dream chase, cause that's all we was given to start with. Then we realized the dream was obtainable. Now look at us.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Main Thing Podcast Presents. I'm your man, Big Huss, the one you trust, bringing you all your Philadelphia Eagles latest. Now, look, today we're here to talk about where the Eagles actually are right now. Not where they hope they are, not where they're supposed to be, but where they're headed into Week 15 against the Las Vegas Raiders. This is a critical game. Not because the Raiders are good, because they're not. More so because the Eagles desperately need to stabilize themselves before this slips into something very, very ugly. So we'll start with the injury report because that's where reality checks in. We'll work our way through all the logistics of what we got going on. But before we get into that, please make sure that you're liking, subscribing, and commenting so you don't know when me and Mr. Holmes drop this pressure, right? So let's start with the injury report like we always do. The truth is on the offensive line. The Eagles issued their second and final injury reports this week, and the biggest takeaway is simple. Lane Johnson, out. JC, Breadman, Mr. Carter, out. Now, Lane Johnson didn't practice all week. This is the second straight DNP, and the writing was on the wall. By Friday, it was official. He'll miss Sunday's game with the foot injury, which we all expected. There was some early optimism. If the Eagles thought that Lane Johnson would have been out long-term, they would have placed him on IR, but they didn't. That suggests that there's still hope that he can return sooner rather than later, maybe week 16. But for now, he's out again, and we'll kind of see how he progresses through the next few days, upcoming weeks, and things of that nature. But with no paved lane, everything else becomes just a little bit harder. So with Lane's sideline, Fred Johnson again will start at right tackle. Now, let's be clear. This is not a comfortable situation. Fred has been decent, but he's had some ups and downs, right? Fred Johnson also popped up on Thursday's injury report with the ankle injury, which immediately set off alarm bells, across the team and across the fans, the fan nation, right? But if Fred couldn't go, the Eagles would have been down to their third string option, Matt Pryor, and we all saw how Matt Pryor played with inserted. It wasn't good. So we don't want to see that. Matt Pryor against Max Crosby would be a nightmare, but thankfully, Fred Johnson was upgraded to a full participant on Friday, which means he'll be good to go. Now, this isn't a good to go, but he is good to go. We'll see how that plays out. This is a huge test for Fred, right? Crosby is one of the most relentless edge rushers in the league, and without no Lane Johnson, the margin for error shrinks. Now, Landon Dickerson, managed, not missing. Landon was a DMP on Thursday after being limited Wednesday with a rest designation. It raised some eyebrows, but Friday, he was back to being a full participant. I believe this was just load management, not a real concern. Dickerson will play. Brett Talk remains his backup at left guard, but this isn't a position the Eagles expect to shuffle on Sunday. Hopefully, Landon can finish the game and stay healthy, like we mentioned on prior episodes. Landon has really been a soldier this season, thugging it out between the ankle, the back, the knee, and everything else that's been going on with him. He's really been fighting and battling to stay available for the Eagles. He knows everything that's going on up front. He knows that he's one of the key cornerstones on that offensive line. Now, Jalen Carter will miss his second straight game with the shoulder injury. Now, here's the key point. The Eagles survived last week, and they should again. Without Carter, the Eagles will rotate Moro Jomo, Jordan Davis, Byron Young. Brandon Graham kicked inside on a few plays. Then you had Big Ty Rob, who got his first snaps, real life snaps last week. So let's not overthink this. The Raiders' offensive line, it isn't a good one. The Eagles just feasted on the Chargers line that couldn't protect anyone, and this matchup is very similar. Carter's absence, it matters in the long term as far as you want him to be ready when the playoffs come around. But versus the Raiders, I believe we can get through this game without him. what do you call it? Byron Young had a beast of a game last week. Jomo showed up big. Jordan Davis has been playing out of this world this year on his 5th-year extension. So the D line, it'll be able to hold up. Let's not get it twisted. No JC, big blow, but we have enough talent up front that we can shoulder that load for another week, or however long it takes for JC to get back right, because the playoffs are where we really need them, right? Now, Cameron Williams was listed as questionable. He was a full participant after the Eagles opened his 21 practice day window, but I don't expect him to be rushed into action. This feels like a depth insurance piece, just in case things kind of go awry on the offensive line. You kind of have something in your pocket that you can kind of play with and pull out if you need it. Now, Eagles have till Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern time to make a decision as far as whether they want to activate Cameron Williams or not. Expectations should be minimal. If they did activate him, once again, it's not activating him to be a starter, just insurance policy in case offensive line kind of gets banged up. But if they don't activate him, I wouldn't be surprised, right? Now, some good news elsewhere. Zach Bond was a full go all week. You know we love Zach Bond. The combination of Bond and the Kobe Dean, one of the best linebacker duos in the league. Then you have Charlie Hewlett, who's officially activated from the injury reserve, will be the long snapper. The Eagles waive Kyle Adamitis, who cleared waivers. Those are some stabilizing moves. Nothing flashy, but necessary. And that's what it's really about. Just stabilizing this team, right? Getting them back on the right path, right? And it all starts with getting healthy. Your best availability, or should be your best ability is availability. So with folks getting healthy, it just makes this Eagles team that much more formidable. Now let's talk about some real issues, right? Kind of around Jalen Hurts. I know there's been some rumors as far as should the Eagles bench him and things of that nature. Our head coach, Nick Sirianni, came out, hey, we're not benching the guy. He'll be our starter for the next game in the foreseeable future. And that was the right move. But injuries matter, and they're not the whole story. Now, according to The Athletic, the Eagles' struggles raise legitimate questions. Is it about what Jalen Hurts is not doing enough of, right? And some of the numbers back it up. Hurts is running less than ever as a full-time starter. His 88 rushes put him on pace for a career low. And this isn't a coincidence. It's showing up directly in the losses. 4 rushes against the Chargers, 4 rushes against the Bears, 2 rushes against Denver, a career low. Let's be blunt, man. The Eagles win more when Jalen Hurts run. His dual threat ability is a real thing, right? His legs aren't a luxury. They're a foundational piece to this offense. We kind of start getting back a little bit more to that. So scheming some things up for him where he can use his legs, maybe put him on the perimeter, some design runs, just to give that defense or the opposing defense something else to think about. You never want a defense just flying around, just playing with their ears peeled back, just doing what they want to do. You want them hesitant thinking. And when Jalen Hurts runs, it just adds another dynamic to this offense. Now, Nick Sirianni says the concepts are still there. Brian Johnson and Patullo said the reads are still built in. They insist it's about the defensive looks when it comes to why Jalen Hurts is running less. And that might be true. But here's the reality. Intent doesn't matter. Results do. Right? I don't care about the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. What are you doing? Right? And over the last 3 games, Hurts attempts around 106 passes in regulation, the most in any 3-game stretch of the season. That's not Eagles football. That's not how this team was built. That's not how this offense becomes dangerous. We are a run-first team. We got to get back into our run bag. And when Hurts runs, everything else opens up. RPOs start working, play actions start working, spacing, tempo, things of that nature tend to get a little better. When he doesn't, defenses sit on routes, they attack the pocket, right? So whether it's play calling, game flow, or quarterback choice, something has to change. His legs have to become more involved in this offensive game plan. Look, when he starts running, I'm sure Larry will start opening up for Saquon and things of that nature. You just always want to give that defense something else to think about. And a dual threat quarterback poses a lot of problems to a lot of these defenses, especially if they're running man and things of that nature. There's typically no one spying Hurts. So when he gets on the edges, he could pick up those 5, 10 yards, 15 yards. You do the QB runs. When we've called the QB design runs, he's actually getting a good chunk yardage out of it. We're just not calling him enough, or he's not choosing to run enough, choosing to throw the ball away a lot of times, and sometimes throwing the ball away is the right move. But a lot of times, just getting those 3, 4 yards, it makes everything else just that much more manageable. Now, which brings us to the non-infamous inflatable Easter Bunny, right? I know we've all heard about the Easter Bunny and the vibe checks and everything of that nature. After the Bears lost, the Eagles tried to lighten the mood. AJ Brilliant had brought in a massive inflatable bunny to spark some positivity, the positivity bunny, right? But after that Chargers lost, that bunny disappeared. And foremost Eagles captain, Hall of Famer, right? Eagles legend Jason Kelsey, he addressed it on the New Heights podcast, and his take landed exactly where a lot of fans were already kind of standing with it. Kelsey said bluntly that seeing the bunny was surprising because when you're playing this poorly, you should be angry. You should be locked in. And I agree with him. You should be focusing on the details, not on the positivity bunny, right? Not miserable, not toxic, but pissed off. Kelsey nailed it. This is the kind of stuff when you're rolling, not when you shit the bed for weeks. Now, we were going into this game, you know what I mean? We're sitting 9-2, or whatever the case may be. They kind of want to have some fun and lighten up, but that's cool. We're going and having that 2-game skid that we had, and now 3-game skid. They need to be locked in the details and holding each other accountable. Not putting up inflatable bunnies. I'm sure it lightened the mood a little bit, but to what end? We came out with another L, right? Execution fuels emotion. Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts have both echoed Jeff Stoutland's message this week. Execution fuels emotion, not props, not slogans, not vibes. You want better energy? Play better football. Go out there and win games. Handle your 111. Check your box. Do your job. That alone will make you feel better. I always feel better leaving the game with a win versus a loss, right? The Bunny's not going to get it. Get back to what matters, and that's winning ball games. And the Eagles are capable of that. We've seen that. But right now, capability doesn't matter. Consistency does, and we have not been that. So we have to get back to being consistent. Get back to our brand of football, that Philly brand of football. Tough details together. Bring in the physicality. Not looking for gimmicks or props to raise the mood and change the vibe. You want the vibe change it yourself, right? Now, Sunday is a reset or a warning, depending upon how the game goes. The Raider game is not about style points. I don't want to, it's not about going out there and trying to be cute. It's about protecting Hurts without Lane Johnson, letting Hurts be Hurts, right? Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP, top tier quarterback, winner, winning in the trenches. Philadelphia has been dominant over these last several years because our trench play has been amazing on both sides of the ball. We got to continue to build around that and stacking one solid performance to stop the bleeding. All we got to do is get back on the horse and start riding, and the vibes will change. Beat the Raiders, look like yourselves again. Then we can start talking about vibes, right? But you got to get back to the basics. Now, look, me and Mr. Owens will be putting out our preview video to the Raiders game tomorrow on Saturday. So please make sure that you're taking a look at that. You know what I mean? Come check us out. Let us know what you think. Hope everyone's having a great, great week. Please make sure that you're liking, comment, and subscribe to the page. Look, man, we talk nothing but Eagles talk over here. We love to do it. You all love to do it. So come chop it up with us, man. But I hope everyone's having a great week, having a great Friday. Stay blessed. And if you don't know, I go by Big Husk, and this is the Main Thing podcast where we keep the main thing the main thing. Hey, go birds, flag was fly till we die. Until next time, we out.
know what I wanted to do. I went after it, and it was a struggle to achieve it. But you know what? I caught that bitch. Dream chasing.